It's early June here in Fremont, California, and lavender has come to its first flush of flowers for the year. Right here I have my hands on Provence. This is one of the famous perfume lavenders. Provence has a French name. It's actually, though, an intermedia. That's a lavender that's a hybrid cross between English lavenders and French lavenders. Actually, true French lavender, Lavandula dentata, is a sort of a stinky plant. It's got serrated leaf edges and so on. There are so many different kinds of lavenders. I often have folks come and ask me, "Oh, Bill, what lavender should I put in my garden?" Well, there are just so many. It's very difficult to actually, for me at least, to select a single lavender as being the perfect lavender. The bees love lavender. It's a good nectar plant. Lavender has that advantage of drawing in pollinating insects. It has a marvelous fragrance in itself for human beings. There are so many different kinds. This is Provence right here. It's in its first flush of bloom for the year in California in early June. Right down here at my feet we have some little headcoat plants. Right here in front of me I've got a bunch of Munstead lavender. And Munstead is a cute little dwarf. It's even shorter than the headcoat right there behind it. But Munstead, unfortunately, will only bloom once, no matter what I do to it. So I've never managed to get more than a single bloom out of that plant in a season. Over here we have Grosso. Grosso lavender is renowned for its excellent fragrance. I haven't really noticed that its fragrance is better than the others, but what I have seen about it is that its silver foliage holds up so well during the winter months. A lot of lavender gets ratty looking in the wintertime. This one stays really nice, clean, and green. A suggestion with lavenders, and as they grow outward from their original planting spot, I suggest you allow them to peg a little. Right over here is some pegging from the Grosso, where a stem has come down, touched the ground, and began to send up some roots. So we've got a new plant that's formed over there, and it in turn then pegged another one over here, so that's actually a separate plant. This is a dry landscape here in my front yard. It doesn't receive any water other than the rainfall in California. The vast majority of all the plant material out here is extremely drought tolerant. Most of it's succulent, although there is thyme here on the edge. Not succulent, but pretty tough stuff. Again, the lavenders, not succulent, but very tough. Over here we have a protea. This is leucodendron, I believe. In the background we got some dwarf bottle brush and such. There's some drought tolerant grasses out here. But this is an area in my yard that only receives winter rainfall, and that's the only water that it gets. When working with lavender in a garden, the color of the flower essentially almost disappears because it's the color of the sky, essentially blue, and that's not a color that registers in our thought process much. So we kind of look right through it. When you use so much blue, if you're planting lavender, you really need to use something else next to it that is yellowish or gold. Helps. Bronze will work to help create some motion. Really good in combinations here with lavender in California is this mimulus over here. This is our Mimulus aurantiacus, the sticky orange monkey flower. This thing's a knockout. It has thousands of flowers. It blooms all summer long. Drought tolerant, real easy plant, and it goes really great with lavenders. Here's an example of the mimulus. It's been mixed with a sage called hummingbird sage. California native guy there with this sort of purple magenta colored flowers. Those flowers and their dark flower heads are really lost out here. light is kind of broken under the tree in this spot, and if it wasn't for the mimulus over there salvaging things by creating some dynamic, the purple flowers behind it on the hummingbird sage would probably be just about lost to our minds and our eyes. So lavenders come in tall lavenders, they come in dwarf lavenders, they come in fragrant lavenders, they come in intermediate sized lavenders, they come in stinky lavenders, and then there's the winter bloomers like the Spanish lavenders. Most of the English lavenders, French lavenders, hybrids between, and the intermediate lavenders, vast majority of those tend to bloom towards the warmer seasons of the year. Here in California, we get the blooms right straight across spring through to fall on the lavenders in the camera lens. But come wintertime, when most of these lavenders have gone out of flower and they really get rather dormant, the Spanish lavenders, or they call it a bumblebee lavender. I haven't got anything to show at the moment because it is high spring, but those will come into flower usually in the fall and then blooming through the winter months here in California. So again, that's why I say collect them all. If you need a nice tall lavender at 6 foot, get an English like Augustifolia or Vera. Take that, throw it to the backdrop. Intermedias like Provence over there, good 3 foot lavender. Flowers keep coming if you cut them. Hidcote over here in Munstead, dwarf lavenders that fall to the foreground. Grosso, which blooms after the others are finished, and then Spanish lavenders for the winter time. Collect them all. Lavender's great stuff, and make a pillow out of the flowers. It will help you sleep and get rid of a headache.